These custom Uno cards are super cool. This is the Uno Billie Eilish expansion, a set of 4 brand new cards you can add to any Uno deck. Let's see if she cooked with this one. First up is the Reveal Hands card. When this is played, until your next turn, every player plays with their hand face up on the table. So instead of drawing 4 out of nowhere, you'll see it come. Next is the Trick Wild card. When this is played, you get to choose a color. And if the next player can't play a card of the chosen color, you get to play another card immediately. Third is the Wild Pass color card. When this is played, you choose a color. Then, each player passes all cards of that color to the player on their left. And even if you have no cards to give away, you still have to take whatever is given to you. And last is the Wild Color Challenge card. When this is played, you choose a color, and then each other player must reveal a card of that color to you. If a player can't reveal a card of that color, they must draw 2 cards. But if every player reveals a card of that color, you have to draw 3 cards. You know what? I think she cooked. Here are 3 underrated red cards for your next commander deck. Number 1 is Pyrokinesis. This spell costs 6 mana, but you can cast it for free if you exile a red card from your hand as you cast it. Pyrokinesis does 4 damage divided as you choose on up to any number of target creatures. This is a very solid removal spell, especially if you can cast it for free. And for $1.73, I think it's worth picking up. Number 2 is Shattering Spree. For 1 red mana, you can destroy an artifact, but you can also pay 1 red mana as many times as you want to copy the spell for as many targets as you want. This is great targeted removal for 1 artifact if something's a big issue, but it can be mass removal if necessary later in the game. And since Replicate copies a spell, this triggers Magecraft, so cards like Stormkill and Arnis or Archmage Emeritus are gonna love this. And for 50 cents, you may as well pick it up. And number 3 is Ensnared by the Mara. This sorcery forces your opponents to make a choice. Either they exile cards from the top of their library until they hit a non-land card and you get to cast it for free, or they exile the top 4 cards of the library and take damage equal to the mana value of those spells. Either way, you're either gonna get free spells or deal a ton of damage to your opponents. And those cards stay in exile, so even if you don't hit big, they can't draw those cards or get them later. And for 96 cents, this card is incredible. Here are 3 underrated white cards for your next commander deck. Number 1 is Archivist of Ogma. This creature has flash and says whenever an opponent searches their library, you gain 1 life and draw a card. This card is great for punishing decks that ramp out a lot of lands, use combos, and it's one of the better draw engines in white. And for just $3, this card is a steal. Number 2 is Keeper of the Accord. This is a creature that, at every end step, if somebody controls more creatures than you get to create a 1/1 Knight creature token. And if an opponent has more lands than you get to search your library for a basic Plains card and put it on the battlefield tapped. This card is incredible for control and combo decks that need the extra boost. And it's one of the few ways that mono white can actually ramp. And for 96 cents, this card is awesome. And number 3 is White Orchid Phantom. This 2-mana creature is a solid attacker and blocker with flying and first strike. But more importantly, when it enters, it destroys a non-basic land. And the controller of that land gets to look for a basic land card and put it on the battlefield tapped. This can help slow down big mana decks that rely on these high value lands. And for just 77 cents, I think this is a solid pickup. This is the most chaotic Uno version. This is Uno Party, and, well, it's a lot of Uno. This version has over 50 more cards than the original, and it adds 3 new cards that are extremely fun. First is the Point Taken card. When this card is played, each player points at another player. Then, each player draws cards based on how many fingers were pointed at them. This card is great for being petty or stopping somebody from winning the game. Second is the Wild Drawn Together card. When this card is played, you give 2 players a link card, and for the rest of the game, when one of those linked players draws a card, the other player has to draw the same amount. And lastly, my personal favorite, the Wild's Pile Up card. When this card is played, the player who plays it chooses a color, and then forms a new mini discard pile that goes around the table. On that player's turn, each player must play a card that matches the color onto the new mini discard pile, and this continues until somebody can't play a card. The player who couldn't play a card gets all the cards in the mini discard pile. This might be my favorite Uno card of all time. Have fun ruining your friendships on a larger scale. Today, we're opening an Avatar The Last Airbender collector booster. This pack cost me $50, and there's a ton of great cards we can hit in here. But if we get super lucky, we can hit some of the Neon Ink main characters from Avatar, those being Toph, Zuko, Katara, and Aang, which all go for over $700. And if we're super lucky, we'll even hit the Raise Foil Aang, which goes for over $4,400. That would be crazy. But let's see what we get. Dang, that wasn't a great pack. Wait, hold on. You see that earthbending student? Well, it turns out a foil version of this card is extremely hard to come across, and this card's actually worth 30 bucks, which means we made profit. These cards make Uno way more fun. This is the Uno Reverse Pack, and it adds 16 cards you can add to a regular Uno game. The expansion takes what I think is the most boring Uno card, the Reverse, and adds 4 new versions of it that are way more fun. First up is the Reverse Draw 2. When this card is played, it not only reverses the order of play, but it makes the player who went before you draw 2 cards. Next up is the Reverse Skip. When this is played, it not only reverses turn order, but it skips the previous player who would have been going next. Next is the Wild Reverse card. As the name implies, you get to reverse the order of play and change the color on top of the discard pile. But you also get to take an extra turn. Why? I don't know, but it's awesome. And last, but easily the best card in this expansion, is the No You card. You can play this card at any time another player would make you draw cards. And when you play it, not only does it reverse the order of play, but it also reverses the effect of the draw card, which means that the person who tried to make you draw cards has to draw those cards instead.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!
How much for a pack?
$15 a piece.
I'll take it. What a deal. Welcome to opening every magic pack in existence. We're starting our journey off with Mystery Booster 2, and shout out to Card Gurus in Pflugerville, Texas for getting me this pack. This pack cost me 15 bucks, and the main thing we're looking for is the foil Urza Lord High Artificer in the Future Sight border. That card is so sweet, but any foil would be great as they're super hard to find in Mystery Booster 2. Aside from foils, we're looking for the white border Urza Saga or the Future Sight Dragon's Approach. So let's see if we can get any of those today. Ugh, well, maybe the next one will be better. Ranking every version of Uno that I own. Number 13 is Uno Dare. This version of Uno comes with 4 Dare cards, and you choose one of those cards to use the Dares from. I like the idea of this game, but the Dares get old really fast, and there's lots of playgroups who would not want to play this at all. Number 12 is Uno All Wild. It is funny that the entire deck is just wild cards, but that's also the biggest problem with the game. The game goes by way too quickly, and since there's no color matching, it's actually much more boring than the original game. There are some cool new wild cards, but it's just not enough. Number 11 is Uno Elite. This is a version of Uno where you can collect trading cards of players and can activate those players' abilities to give unique effects. Now, I like the NFL and I really like card games, but there's just too much going on in this game. Uno is supposed to be easy and simple to pick up, and adding special abilities and trading cards to the game is not the way to do it. Number 10 is Dose. This version features 2 discard piles and plays where you can play multiple cards at once. And while this sounds cool in theory, the games are much slower than an original Uno, plus it's weirdly difficult to explain the rules of it, which is a deal breaker for any good version of Uno. Ranking every version of Uno that I own. Last place is Uno Left-Handed. The only difference between this game and regular Uno is that the numbers in the corners are flipped to their opposite corners. This just makes it harder to play the game for most people. And if you can't play regular Uno without a left-handed version, I don't know what to tell you. 10th is Uno Non-Partisan. This version of Uno removes all the red and blue cards and replaces them with purple and orange cards. It also adds the No Politics card, so if anyone starts telling you about politics, you can give them that and skip their turn. But that's a really stupid concept, and this is only going to create arguments while you play Uno. 9th place is Uno NFL Edition. The game adds 1 new card, and it's not that interesting either. When the wild field goal card is placed down, you have to make a field goal with the paper football, and if you miss, you have to draw 3 cards. But this was such a wasted opportunity. If each NFL team had its own unique effect, then this game would be super cool. But it's a cheap cash grab, not worth buying. Number 8 is Uno Dare. The game comes with its own list of dares, and you have to do these dares whenever a draw 2 is placed onto the discard pile. But the dare lists get really old really fast, and even the dare list where you can make your own rules is only fun in certain playgroups. Number 7 is Uno House Rules. Whenever you play down a speech bubble card, you can add your own new rule to the game that everybody has to follow. This is kind of cool, but I would rather just play Uno with my own custom rules. It's so close to being good. Number 6 is Dose. It's kind of confusing, but it does have its cool plays and cool moments, although the rules are a lot more complicated than regular Uno, so it's harder to just pick up and play. It tried to be a little too different and lost some of the fun and simplicity of the original. Number 5 is Uno All Wild. The biggest problem with this game is that it goes a little too fast, but it does add new fun wild cards to the game that you can mix in with other versions to make this game worth buying. On its own though, it's just kinda okay. play. Number 4 is Classic Uno. It's the game we all know and love. Its simplicity makes it easy to pick up and play, and everyone already knows how to play. But the last 3 entrants on this list are all strictly better than Uno in my opinion. Number 3 is Uno Flex. This game adds a power card for all players to use, and using this power card you can change the effect of certain cards in your hand. I really like this twist, but the cards are a little confusing to look at, and it takes some time to get used to playing this game, but I really enjoy it. Number 2 is Uno No Mercy. This is the version of Uno that everybody wants. There are tons of action cards in this game, and they all have wild effects, ranging from making a player draw 10 cards, to discarding all cards of one color from your hand, to swapping hands with other players. This game is truly chaotic and fun, but there's one that I think is a little better. And number 1 is Uno Flip. The flip mechanic completely changes the game from being a regular Uno to a more chaotic and strategic version, and it's implemented surprisingly smoothly for a bizarre concept. This is my favorite Uno by far, and I will always recommend it.